2. Welcome to this special episode of So You Want to Sell on eBay. I'm Ron LeBeau.
And I'm Ali Young.
Hey, everyone. We have with us today Nathan Hirsch. Nathan, how are you today, sir?
I'm great, guys. How are you?
Doing great here, man. How you doing, Ali?
I am doing awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Awesome. Well, hey, Nathan is a serial entrepreneur, an expert in remote hiring and e-commerce. He started his first e-commerce business out of college in his dorm room, and he sold over $30 million online. He's now the co-founder and CEO of FreeUp.com, a marketplace that connects businesses with pre-vetted freelancers in e-commerce, digital marketing, and much more. Wow. So, Nathan, the topic for today is outsourcing. And as Ali and I were trying to figure out who would be the expert to go to for outsourcing, unanimously, your name came up. It was a no-brainer. So welcome to the show, man. So we are going to talk about we're going to talk about outsourcing.
Drop some knowledge bombs and really help the audience out there.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. That sounds awesome. So let's start at the beginning. Let's assume nothing here, because you've been doing this for so long that, you know, the term outsourcing is a common phrase for you. But there's a lot of people out there, and especially maybe people that are just starting on eBay, that know nothing about outsourcing and what it is. And maybe they think that everything that's outsourced is overseas somewhere and all that good stuff. So help me understand, what is outsourcing?
Yeah, so for me, outsourcing means hiring someone outside of your office, hiring someone outside of your town. I mean, I opened up an office back in the day, and I quickly realized how limiting it was. I was competing for that same talent as all the businesses around me, which made it hard. It led to turnover, and if there wasn't someone for that skill set available, I was really out of luck. So for me, I mean, I hire a U.S. marketing agency to handle my Instagram, my Twitter. I hire a U.S. freelancer to run my Facebook ads. And I have a whole team in the Philippines that does my customer service, my billing. So a lot of people, like you said, think of outsourcing as outside the U.S., maybe India or Philippines, which a lot of times it is. But you can also outsource work outside of your office to U.S. freelancers, U.S. agencies from all around the world.
So is there a price difference, though? Like, you know, would you expect to pay more for someone who's in the West than you would in someone in the Philippines?
Definitely, and the market kind of takes care of a lot of that. I mean, you've got the people in the U.S., and then you've got the people that are maybe U.S. citizens, but they're digital nomads, so their expenses aren't very high besides the travel. And then you've got the India and Philippines, where, yes, the minimum wage is a lot lower, and it doesn't take that much to live there. The cost of living is very low. So there are lots of different price points, but I mean, I have assistants from the Philippines that I pay $20 an hour. So there's no, hey, if you hire from one place, it's cheaper. Yep. But there are, if you do hire outside of the U.S., you can save some money.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So let's take that into the eBay world now, right? So we understand now what outsourcing is, but how can somebody that is doing an eBay business benefit from outsourcing their work?
Sure. So you have all this stuff you have to get done for your business. And what I like to do is divide it up into 3 levels: basic, mid, and expert. So a basic level freelancer or virtual assistant, they're non-US, they're followers. They're there to follow your systems, your processes. If you hire a customer service rep, I can get you someone with 5 years of eBay customer service experience, but the way that you do it is going to be different than the way another client does it. So you have to teach them how you want it done. They're followers. Next, you got the mid-level, the specialists. They do the same thing every day. Maybe they do graphic design, or they do bookkeeping, or they write eBay listings. And you're not going to really teach them. Maybe you tweak what they do to fit your needs, but they're not going to consult with you either. They're doers. They're there to do that task at a high level. And then you got the experts, the 25 and up. Maybe you got an eBay expert that can audit your listings or audit your entire business and create a game plan and execute it. These people are bringing their past experience to the table to really help you to focus on things that are outside your core competency. I mean, we have people who are really good at sourcing and finding products but bad at everything else, or people that can't find the products but they're really good at listing. So as you're growing, you want to focus on what is my core competency and how do I implement the basic, the mid-level, and the expert level people accordingly to help me scale to the next level.
Damn, I love that, the way you just worded all of that. You know, so, because the thing that we see, especially when Ron and I have been doing the show for quite a while, is that, you know, we don't know when to actually take that point. You know, we don't know whether to, you know, like, I'm making some money, but can I actually afford a VA yet? You know, it's really hard to know when to take that move. So what's the sort of suggestion for someone like that? You know, they're at this point where the business is too much for them, but they just maybe don't have the collateral to actually get someone involved.
Yeah, I mean, you really have to create two lists. The first list is everything you do on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis, and you got to start to systemize it. You got to try to turn your business into that McDonald's where everything is written in writing and you can plug anyone in there, and as long as they're hardworking and they follow instructions, that stuff will get done. And what that list allows you to do is get hours in your day back. What would you do with an extra 5 hours, an extra 10 hours? And that's more of when people think of outsourcing, they think of virtual assistants, someone in that $5 to $10 an hour range. That's relatively affordable. You can hire them for 5 hours a day or a week or 20 hours a week, full-time, whatever makes sense. And they're the doers or the followers, but they're doing those day-to-day operations. Then the second list is all the things you're not good at. I mean, us as entrepreneurs, we wear a lot of different hats, but you have to focus on what is your core competency, what in your business are you the best at, and everything else. Eventually, you're going to want to hire people that are better than you at those things. I know I'm a terrible writer, so I hire top-level writers that make me look really good on the outside.
Make you look sexy.
Exactly, and that's what good business owners do. They're able to identify what tasks should I not be doing and what tasks am I not good at.
That's awesome, because those two lists kind of break it down, right? Because there are a lot of people, and I'm one of them, that feel like, you know, nobody can do it better than I can, right? But if you have those tasks and those lists listed out exactly how you want it done, you know, and if these guys are followers, they can do it, you know, with some training, you could actually, like you said, free up some time. And what a freedom that is, I'm sure. And I'm not talking about just freeing up your time, but freeing up your mind too, right? All the headaches of things that you know are now getting done because someone else is doing them and they're efficient.
Absolutely. And first of all, I've learned that there are people out there that can do it better than you and that can bring their own expertise to the table and take it to the next level. Definitely. But second, it's almost like an excuse because you don't have the processes in place. If you can do things at a very high level, you have to learn how to create those SOPs and create fail safes where, hey, if this doesn't get done on this step, it gets double checked here before it goes live. So anything that could go wrong, any kind of human error, you're almost eliminating that as much as possible. So people with really good systems and really good processes never feel like no one else can do it as good as that.
Yeah. So, like, you know, so when I think of a VA, and this is just maybe what other people are thinking, I'm thinking, well, I take the pictures, so I've got to do that part. I go out and get the product, so I've got to do that part. You know, I only know how to do the listing the best, so I got to do so. And then the shipping part, I've got to do that part. So why would I need a VA? You know, but I don't seem to have enough time to do all of that. So how do you get someone who's somewhere else into your world that's, you know, where you feel like you're doing it all?
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind every e-commerce seller, even though they sell on eBay or they sell on Amazon, they have a slightly different business model. They have a system that they go through. Maybe you're going through suppliers or you're identifying, hey, these are the retail stores I'm going to go to. Or maybe once you have the products and you take them a picture, you can send it to them. I know I do that with influencers. If I see a Facebook post with a lot of different influencers, I'll just screen capture it, send it to my VA. They'll put in a list, and later when I have time, I'll be the one that reaches out to them. So you can get creative. I mean, I recommend just writing down your process from start to finish. You wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you do, the second thing you do, the third thing you do? And from there, you can be like, yes, I have to ship the product, but someone else can write the listing. Someone else can wake up and check all the listings in the morning and make sure they're active and reprice them and really identify, hey, these are the things that you don't have to be in my office to do.
Yep.
Man, you're making this so easy. Nathan. I mean,
I want a VA now, Ron. I want one.
I guess what it boils down to is that really you have to put a price tag on your own time. And if my price tag is higher than $5 or $10 an hour, then maybe it makes sense to bring somebody else on to kind of help you offload some of the things that you're doing on a daily basis.
Yeah, and you got to be honest with yourself. I mean, there was a time where my value of my time was not $10 an hour. My business wasn't making any money, and I had to sit down and get down and grind it and learn it and do trial and error. And once you start increasing, okay, my time's worth 15, my time's now worth 50, my time's worth 200, and then you start implementing different pieces to really maximize the 40, 50, 60 hours that you're going to work every single week.
Yeah. How awesome is that, man? That makes perfect sense. It really does. Yeah, so listen, I really appreciate you joining us here today. Ali, what do you got, man?
Well, so let's say let's say I'm at this point where I've decided that I want a VA. Here I am, Joe Blogs, got my eBay store all sorted out. I want a VA. I mean, what do I do about that? I mean, 'cause for example, I know you can go online, you can search up VAs, but then you've got the process of finding a VA, you've got the process of putting out a listing and getting like 100 results and then filtering through the VA and then getting the VA. I mean, what's the way that people can actually get started with something like this should they want to?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I own a marketplace of e-commerce freelancers. So the easy answer is to go to Free Up, but I have a 5-step hiring process that I encourage you. And step 1 is kind of what we talked about, creating those 2 lists so you know what you want to take off your plate. Step 2 is really thinking, what does your perfect person look like? We talked about different levels. Is it full-time? Is it part-time? How much can you actually afford? Because you don't want to hire someone and then realize that your budget doesn't make sense.
Yep.
What kind of attitude do you like working with? I know I talk fast. I'm very direct. If you bring me someone who moves slow and they're warm and fuzzy, me and him are not going to work together very well. And then step 3, once you've identified that perfect person, is to interview for not just skill, but for attitude and communication skills. You want someone who wants to work. They're not just in it for the paycheck. They're passionate about what they do. You want someone who you're not going to have to chase down, that can communicate and speak English, and if there's an emergency, they update you. So really vetting outside of just the skill, which we're so used to just looking at someone's resume. Step 4 is setting expectations right from the beginning before you get started. This is what's good. This is what's bad. This is what's expected. These are my pet peeves. Really getting all that in writing so there's no he said, she said down the line.
Black and white.
Keeping in mind that clients work with lots of different freelancers and everyone wants it done differently. So you really want to set those expectations. And step 5 is a feedback loop. As they start to work, they start doing tasks, days go by. This is what we like. This is what I want you to change. This is how we want to improve. And get their feedback too. They're the ones inside your business now. They can give ideas. They can give suggestions. So identify what you want to take off your plate. Identify what your perfect person looks like. Interview for skill, attitude, communication. Set expectations. And then start that feedback loop early on.
Wow. I mean, this is brilliant because the problem that I have is sometimes in my business, I'm so unmanageable that I'm trying to employ someone who's manageable. So how does an unmanageable person get the person to become manageable? I mean, it can be confusing because some people like we've interviewed a lot of people, Ron, haven't we? And some of them are streamlined. This is my business. I've got it laid out. But some of us are like, I need help. And it's like, how does someone at that extreme find someone who's hoping that other person is going to help them? Like, how are you going to get them in?
I mean, when I was a younger entrepreneur and I didn't know what I was doing, and someone argued, I still don't know what I'm doing.
None of us do. We're all making it up.
I went to the VA and I asked, hey, you've worked with a lot of clients. What do they do? What works? How do they communicate? How do they share notes with you? How do they teach you? What does not work? What have been your favorite clients? What have been your not favorite clients? And I just listened and I slowly adjusted the way I did things to make it make sense. Because if I'm going to invest my money, but I can always make more money, but my time and my energy into someone and getting them set up, I want to increase the percentage of success. So getting that information is very valuable.
Yeah. That is so awesome. And, we're doing these special episodes here, Nathan, to help people really get off the ground. And this is really great stuff. A lot of good information here because there are a lot of people that are working way, way too hard right now in their own business. And we're finding out from having this great conversation with you that there are a lot of things that they can do to offload that pressure that they're putting on themselves. I mean, how cool would it be to have a VA, whether it's local or in the Philippines where our VA is, and wake up in the next day and see an email that they've already done some things for you. They've already they've got things prepared for your day, and it's just kind of nice, man. It's really once you get to your business to the point where you can afford it, it just makes sense, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can't. There's very few $5 million a year solo entrepreneurs. It just doesn't exist. You're gonna have to start to hire people. Most people start hiring too late. I know I did, and
yeah.
I mean, my original story was I went to an accountant. It was time for me to start paying taxes, and he said, "When are you gonna hire your first person?" And I said, "Why would I do that?" And I just started listing excuses that there's going to be money out of my pocket. They're going to mess up my business. They're going to steal my ideas. They're not going to do as good a job as me. And he just laughed in my face. He just said, "You're going to learn this lesson on your own." And sure enough, my first fourth quarter came around and I just get destroyed. I'm working 20 hours a day. My social life is gone. My grades plummet. And somehow, because I'm a workaholic, I get through January. I wake up January 1st and I think, okay, I can never let that happen again. I need to start hiring people. So you're going to learn the lesson at some point. You might as well get started early.
Well, cool, man. And one of the questions I'm sure a lot of listeners might have now, you kind of brought up taxes, right? How does that work as far as me hiring a VA in the Philippines? How do you pay taxes on that? Because obviously they're not, how does that work?
Yeah, so I won't answer any tax questions because I'm not a tax lawyer. I mean, we're a marketplace for freelancers. So we provide freelancers, we provide virtual assistants. I mean, for U.S. freelancers, we're providing people that are service providers, that are business owners, and we've had clients that have bought the freelancers out and made them employees of their company, which you're more than welcome to do. And for the freelancers outside the U.S., they all sign W-8 saying that they're responsible for taxes in their own country, but you should really contact a lawyer or tax advisor for any questions you have. That is not my area of expertise.
Did not mean to corner you there. I appreciate
it's
that.
It's all good. That's
look at that. He came out that one well, didn't he? That's good,
because been asked that before.
I think VA stuff, I think a lot of people don't know about it. I think that's what it is, we really believe that we have to struggle through to make this work. But like you said, because we had that similar, the honesty for me and Ron is we had that similar thing where we thought we could do it all ourselves. We thought that, Ron would do his part, I would do my part, and then it ended up coming to a point where you're doing lots and lots of hours, but we just can't fulfill it all. So when you take that step, like, you know what, we need the help, and then boom, it suddenly just goes flying. I mean, it's just such a great concept, but I don't think a lot of people know about it yet.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're an eBay seller, if you're running a retail store, if you're a software company, if you're a marketing agency. I mean, we live in the gig economy. You can take advantage of hiring people outside of your office, even if you still have people in your office. If you work with your family or you have an internal employee, you can still hire someone to run your social media or someone to do your bookkeeping every quarter, whatever it is. So you got to open yourself up to those possibilities that you can get access to talent from all over the world at different price ranges.
Yeah.
No, that's freeing, and that's free up. I get it, and it makes sense now because really, you are freeing up your life when you do something like that, right? I mean, really, you are. It just makes sense.
So what about security? Because you made a great point earlier that one of the reasons you didn't want to do it was because you felt like, they're going to steal my ideas, they're going to have passwords, stuff like that. So what would be your suggestion for security like?
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be a risk, right? There's nothing that I can do to make that risk zero. And we bill 15,000 hours a week, and we rarely have any issues at all. And there's always a chance that someone does something stupid, or even if you hire someone right next to you or your best friend, there's always a chance they do something to jeopardize your business in some way. And there are things to protect you like LastPass and NDAs, but are you really going to chase someone across the Philippines over an NDA? Probably not.
Yeah.
The number one way to protect your business is to actually build relationships with the people that you work with. I mean, I've had people that have quit on me, that I fired, but I was respectful, I was nice, and we built a relationship, and they didn't want to hurt me, I didn't want to hurt them. So that really surpasses every other part that you can do to protect your business.
Yeah. So it's a time thing, it's just that, like you said, that relationship building thing and build on it. So what about like how to manage a VA? So is there services out there? So, I've got my VA, but I'm just struggling on how to do it? Or is there services out there that give support or help talking about managing VAs and stuff?
I mean, check out the Free Up blog. We post a lot of great content, the Free Up YouTube channel as well. Always trying to help people do that. I mean, you can hire project managers. You can come up with SOPs. It is a lot of trial and error. And I encourage you every quarter to reevaluate your processes, reevaluate your people, your personnel, what works, what doesn't work, and really try to continue to make tweaks and changes. There's no one way, like, hey, if you do this, if you run a meeting this way, it's a lot of changing to see what works with the different people that you hire.
Yeah.
That's cool. And a lot of times they'll have great ideas that, can help improve. When you go back and forth, you can fine tune it to get it to run as smooth as silk, right?
No joke, some of the best ideas, the ones that have made me hundreds of thousands of dollars or saved me hundreds of thousands of dollars, came from other people, not from me. And it's because I created an environment where people weren't robots. It came in every day. What can I do to improve the business, the part of the business that I'm responsible for? And that was energizing. They liked it. They want to be a part of it. And at the end of the day, it helps you in your business.
So would you, awesome. let's say you have a couple of VAs. Let's say you got 2 VAs. Would you have like weekly business meetings with them? Would you like give tasks for the week on what needs doing? I mean, what's that sort of process look like?
Yeah, so the way that I set it up, sorry, you cut out for a second. All right, we're good now.
Yeah.
The way that I set it up is I have a Monday morning meeting with everyone, and we're about 40 people now. And from there, then each team has a separate meeting throughout the week. So the accounting team, the blog writing team, the developers, and me and Connor kind of split it up. Some meetings we're not even involved if we have a team leader that's really good and doesn't need us, or maybe we'll go in once a month, and other ones we're very involved. So you can break it down. What I encourage is meet as much as possible until you're on the same page. If you just hired someone and you're new to it, meet every day until they're hitting the ground rolling and doing everything you want, and then decrease it to every other day, every 3 days, once a week, once a month if you get a really good process down. But those meetings are important, and definitely load them up on the front end until you get to where you want to be.
No, that's awesome because you gotta find your groove. I mean, and every VA is gonna work differently than the other. So that's really cool. I mean, you can just figure out the processes and make it work for you.
And then are you then checking? So you would have a process at the end of the week where you would check to see if I know that there's this trust thing, and eventually it becomes a relationship, and you pretty much let them go. But we're creating something in this particular interview where people got questions on how to figure stuff out. So do you check them at the end of the week to see if they're actually doing their work, and then becomes the process of, let's say they don't do what you want them to do, how do you go through a process of maybe letting them go?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to create a hard rule, like every Friday check on their work. I mean, sometimes I'll check at the end of the day. If I hired someone for the first time, I want to see how that first day went. But at the same time, I mean, you judge it by how they're doing and what your expectations are. If your expectation is after 48 hours they can hit the ground running, well, after 48 hours, evaluate, give feedback. If it's, hey, with me, we have 40 pages of onboarding docs because there's a lot to learn to be my assistant.
40 pages, wow.
Yeah. For the first week, we don't bother them that much. We're there to answer questions. We're there to support them, but we don't expect them to know it. We expect them to read and learn and ask questions and take the weekend, relax, rest a little bit, absorb the knowledge, and come in on Monday and we'll start talking. So it just, whatever makes sense for your business.
Yeah, and then the letting go part, should they not be working? Is there a process? Do you need to let someone know that they don't work for you no more? Or
I mean, I try to give people as many chances as I possibly can, but they're in a very short period of time. I never get to the point where it's 6 months later and I'm like, okay, I've been warning you for months, you're gone. Okay, we talked about it today, and now you have a chance to improve. Tomorrow, if you didn't improve, or maybe you only improved a little, we'll talk. Hey, this is what you did. This is what you did bad, good. And then another day or so, and maybe I'll make a move. So I'm pretty quick, but I also just know what I'm looking for. And up front, you might not. And for me, I mean, I've had good people that I've let go that just weren't the right fit for me. And I had no way of knowing that until they actually got in and did the work. And interacted with my team. So again, it's very case by case. It's tough to try to surround everything with one, okay, this is how you do it.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I would imagine every personality is different too. So you're going to have people that are really, really trying that just can't get it, and you're going to have people maybe with an attitude going, you know what, I don't care, you know, and it's pretty easy to tell them out, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give a story that I hired this assistant middle last year, and he was awesome. He was smart. He was kind of getting it, or he was getting it really fast, and his attitude was like all out of whack though. I could tell he was a little bit younger than some other people I had hired, and he was just like, talking back, but I knew that it was also like a culture difference, and he was new, and it was distracting. It was distracting other people on the team. It was tough to try to get everything where I wanted to be, and I could have just let him go and be like, okay, this is a hassle, let's start over, but instead I sat down with him and I just talked to him for 30 minutes, and I was like, listen, man, I want you to work here. I invested my time and energy into it. It's in my best interest for you to work here. I'm assuming you want to be here. And he said yes. And he's like, all right, like, let's see if we can figure this out. But at the end of this meeting, we're not going to have this meeting again. Like, this is it. You either do it or you don't. It's cut or dry. And I kind of left that meeting thinking, he's not going to do it. Like, come on. He's this punk kid that isn't going to absorb it in 30 minutes. I know when I was his age, I probably wouldn't have. And the next day he comes in with a smile on his face, sending me smile emojis, and he's been
I love it. I love
it. So you never know with people, you know?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I love it.
What a good story.
Yeah. But I think, you know, sometimes, you know, people who are, not everyone, so you got different people selling on eBay, but you've got some people who sell on eBay who've maybe never managed someone else before. They've always worked for the man. They've always worked for corporate companies. They've been told what to do. And now suddenly this person's here and they find it hard to know how to deal with that as well. I think that's the reality. Not everyone's as clued up as, you know, some people are.
Yeah, and I've had plenty of vice versa stories where I thought someone was going to be awesome. They told me what I wanted to hear, and an extra 2 weeks, 3 weeks went by when I probably should have let them go earlier, and they never turned it around, and I regretted not doing it. So yeah. It's kind of, you're kind of balancing it in my mind. I think, hey, is this person actually have the potential to be what I want them to be? And in this case, I mean, he was smart enough. He had that going, and then it becomes, can I get him there within a reasonable amount of time? And that's kind of the part you need to figure out.
Yeah. So that's short, awesome, I mean, show, basically, because we're running out of time, we've gone half an hour. I mean, you're awesome. You just talk here, Nathan. It's brilliant. It's exactly what we're looking for. But so, like, short bullet points is, you know, it's not get rid of that fear and take that step. I mean, what you tell, what's the sort of short bullet points to end this sort of conversation here about the...
Yeah, I mean... First thing is just open your mind to hire remote. It's going to be a trial and error process. Yep. No one has a 100% hiring record, and it's like any other part of business. There's going to be risks, and there's going to be rewards that come with that risk. Come up with a hiring process. I kind of gave you my 5-step process. Feel free to tweak it. Feel free to change it to make sense for your needs, but having that process is very important. And, I mean, I would love to help anyone out there. My calendar's right on the FreeUp website. We have a blog, we have a YouTube channel where we're constantly posting content to help our community, regardless of whether you use our service or not. And I know you can do it. We've helped a lot of e-commerce businesses that were scared, that had bad experiences. I was one of them that made a lot of bad hires before I figured it out. And it's the only way to get to the next level.
That is so awesome, Nathan. This has been really, really a great time. We really appreciate you. This is exactly what we were looking for. You've given a lot of good information, but tell us how anyone can reach you. What is the best way to contact you?
Yeah, go to freeup.com with 3 E's. My calendar is right at the top, and I'd love to talk to anyone about their hiring needs. If you create a client account, mention this podcast, get a free $25 credit to try us out. And I look forward to working with a lot of you.
Love it. Well, Nathan, as always, as Ron said at the beginning, it's great chatting with you. We could just chat with you all day because you got so much information in that head of yours. But it's brilliant, yeah. So if anyone wants to know more, you can always go to FreeUp. We hope this sort of podcast has been, this event here has been helpful to you. And we shall see you all again soon. Take it easy, Nathan. See you later.
Thanks, guys.
See you, Nathan.
Take it easy. You.